All right, had to run some errands today, so we're just getting headed down in the afternoon. Got a ladder filling up my car. I'm not even driving down today, but I don't really have a place to store this ladder that I borrowed inside of my house. This guy almost just ran a red light next to me and T-boned someone because the turning lane turned green. So we're gonna focus on driving so that we don't drive like that guy. Catch up with you guys once we get down there. So this video is also going to have a lot of just voiceover. There wasn't much time for me to interject in the middle of video clips to kind of narrate what was happening. I had never put up any of these vinyl signs before that go in the windows, so it was very new for me, and we also were not as prepped as we should have been. The company didn't give proper instructions, so luckily I had a bottle that I could use as a spray bottle so we could wet the windows, but we were kind of flying blind into this. And we also, for the one that went on the main windows, I think those had to be ordered before we actually got keys to the space, and so the store owner actually just got one, and thinking that the glass would be even, and the glass panels weren't even in the front. And so the one that went across two glass panels was pretty tough to put up and did not work exactly the way that we wanted it to. It took a lot of finessing to get that to work right. And so because I'm pretty much just showing up every day and finding out what our projects are for the day, since I am not in charge of the build out, I'm really just in charge of my candles, and I'm just there to help to make sure that everything gets done so that I can sell candles as quickly as possible. It has been a little bit of an interesting process, but we are making progress. We continue to get more and more done, and by the time we did a couple of them, because we had multiple of these vinyls, they really did turn out to be really nice. I think the one on the outside window actually I thought looked phenomenal, and that was the last one we did. And kind of similar to putting up the clothing racks, that just after doing things a few times, it's a lot easier and turns out much better. And so it's really just about doing it enough times until you don't suck at it anymore. And as long as you can get it done, that's what matters. And so we are pushing on towards opening day. So what you didn't see was me almost lose it completely and totally trying to put these mannequins together. Mannequins are the bane of my existence. They always suck. They never go together like they're supposed to. And so one of them I could not get on the stand. I could only get it down like a little bit, and then I couldn't get it off, and I thought I was going to break the glass plate that they stand on. And luckily, after a while, we did get them on and all set up. But yeah, they're frustrating, and hopefully they're all going to have dresses on them so that we never have to take the legs off the stands, because it is not easy. The last project for the day was some painting. We did take parts of the wallpaper off just on some of the outsides of the fitting room, and that kind of tore up the drywall a little bit, but not enough to be noticeable. So did a little bit of sanding and then some painting, and it actually turned out really well. I thought it was going to take a couple coats, but after seeing it the next day and seeing how it dried, it pretty much looked perfect. And so we didn't really actually have to go back and do any more. And actually was one of the first projects we had that just went smooth sailing from the beginning. Was about as easy as we could have hoped for. Getting that all prepped so we could put curtains in. Once we get the curtains in, all we'll need to do is get some racks in there and somewhere for people to sit, some type of bench or stool, and the fitting rooms will be totally done. And now that we have the mannequins, we pretty much just need to get those dressed, and since we had the vinyl wall signs in, put the mannequins, once they're dressed, in the windows back there, and actually that whole back part of the store will be done. So that will be nice. We won't have to worry about that anymore. It will be just about getting furniture and clothes on racks and all of the final details in the front part of the store. Time for the reflection on the day, and if I could give it a title, I would say it is measure twice and cut once. Not that this process has been slow. We've actually gotten things done much faster than I would have thought initially. But there's still so many things that, had we just taken the time to figure out a really good plan instead of just jumping heads in, we could have done it much faster and much more efficiently and much better. With every project we've done, by the end of it, the last one looks a lot better than the first one. And so I wish that we had held everything up to that standard of quality. And especially as I'm beginning to think now about opening my own solo store again, it reminds me to keep that in mind and to plan everything out really thoroughly to make sure that you can execute it to the level that you envision. Because it's really easy to have a vision of something super beautiful, but to bring it to life is something else entirely. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I am getting towards the end of this series and getting close to actually opening the store, because I'm going to be on vacation for the last few days of the build out. So I won't even be there for it. So almost wrapped up. Only a couple days left.